My name is Arthur. After my wife died, my son, Leo, was the only light I had left. I lived for him. I worked double shifts as a mechanic, my hands permanently stained with grease, just to put him through college. I skipped meals so he could have new textbooks. I gave him every piece of me until there was nothing left to give. I dreamed of one day watching him get married, of standing proudly in the front row, seeing the man he'd become. That dream ended with a phone call. His voice was cold, detached. "Dad," he said, "don't come to the wedding. My fiancée, Chloe, she hates you." The words didn't just hurt. They erased 40 years of my life in a single sentence. I was banned from my own son's wedding. But what he didn't know was that I held a secret about his perfect bride, a secret that would destroy their fairy tale before it even began. Before I tell you how I exposed her, I need to know you're on the side of truth. Tell me where you're watching from in the comments and hit subscribe right now. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I sat in my silent house, the same house where I'd raised him, and I felt something inside me turn to stone. The photos on the walls of his first steps, his graduation, they all mocked me. He didn't even have the decency to tell me why, just that she hated me, the woman I'd met twice, the woman whose handshake felt like ice. But I knew why. It wasn't hatred, it was fear. The first time I met Chloe, my instincts screamed. She was too perfect. Her smile was a weapon. Her eyes were always calculating. I saw her check her phone 3 times during dinner, tilting the screen away from my son. When I asked about her family, her answers were smooth, rehearsed. A father knows. A father sees the cracks. I tried to warn Leo. Gently, "Son, just be careful. Watch how she acts when she thinks no one's looking." He laughed it off. "You're just being overprotective, Dad. You don't understand modern women." So I stayed silent. I didn't want to lose him. But when he banned me from the wedding, silence was no longer an option. The humiliation was public. Relatives called, their voices dripping with fake sympathy. "We heard you're not coming, Arthur. Everything okay?" I could hear the gossip buzzing through the phone lines. They'd already painted me as the difficult, bitter old man. I saw the wedding invitations online. Gold foil, elaborate cursive, a celebration of a lie. And I saw the photos. Leo smiling, his arm around her. Chloe glowing in her engagement photos. But in one picture I saw it again. That same flicker in her eyes, that same guarded posture. Her phone was in her hand, angled away like always. She wasn't just marrying my son, she was hiding from me. That's when I stopped being a grieving father and started being a detective. I began to dig, quietly, carefully. I remembered she worked at the Grand Heritage Hotel. I went there under the pretext of booking a room for a friend. I saw her in the lobby, laughing with a man in an expensive suit, the manager. They were standing too close. Their body language wasn't professional. It was intimate. She saw me, her smile vanished. She rushed over, flustered. "Mr. Vance, what a surprise." I played the confused old man. "Just looking for a room, dear." But I saw the panic in her eyes. She was terrified I'd seen something. I called in a favor from an old friend who still worked in the hotel business. "Can you check something for me?" Discreetly. The evidence arrived in a plain manila envelope 2 days later. I opened it with steady hands. Inside were hotel receipts, security camera stills, dates and times. Chloe and the hotel manager, the same man, multiple evenings, room 412. Every late work night, every business trip, all lies. She wasn't just cold, she was a cheat. She was using my son, and she knew I was the only one who could see it. I had the proof in my hands, the power to stop the wedding, to save my son from a life of deception. But I wouldn't storm in. I wouldn't scream. That would make me the villain she'd already painted me to be. No, my revenge would be colder, cleaner, more final. I would let the truth speak for itself. I would deliver it to him at the one moment she thought she was safe, at the altar. I placed the photos and receipts into a simple white envelope. I wrote a single line on the front, "For Leo. Read this before you say, I do." The wedding was in 3 days. The church would be packed. Everyone who had shunned me would be there. I would be there too, not as a guest, as the man who would end the lie. The morning of the wedding, the sun was blinding. It felt like a mockery. I put on the same suit I'd bought years ago, hoping to wear it as the father of the groom. Today, I was wearing it as an assassin of lies. I arrived at the cathedral early. I stood across the street, hidden in the shadow of a bakery awning, and watched the guests arrive. I saw my relatives, the ones who'd whispered about me, laughing as they walked into the church. I saw Chloe's family, all smiles and expensive clothes. They had no idea the foundation of their perfect day was about to crumble. My heart wasn't pounding with nerves. It was steady, cold. This wasn't about anger anymore. It was about surgery, cutting out the cancer before it consumed my son. I was about to destroy my son's wedding with a single envelope. But what happened in that church was more dramatic than I ever imagined. If you believe the truth deserves to be heard, subscribe now. You won't believe how this ends. I saw Leo's best man, Mark, arrive. A good kid. I'd known him since he and Leo were in diapers. I texted him, "Meet me at the corner, now it's about Leo." He came out looking confused. "Mr. Vance, what are you doing here? Leo said you weren't." I cut him off, pressing the envelope into his hands. His eyes widened as he felt the contents. "Mark, you've known Leo your whole life. You love him like a brother. Do not let him walk into this. Give this to the officiant. Tell him to hand it to Leo when he asks if anyone objects." He stared at the envelope, then at me. "What is this?" "The reason she didn't want me here," I said, my voice low and unwavering. "It's proof. Now do you trust me?" He hesitated for only a second before nodding, his jaw tight. "I trust you." He slipped the envelope inside his suit jacket and walked back into the church, a soldier on a mission. I took my position again, my hands in my pockets, watching. The ceremony began. I could hear the faint strains of the wedding march from inside. My stomach tightened, but my resolve didn't falter. Then I saw them. Leo at the altar, looking so hopeful, so proud. And Chloe, a vision in white, walking toward him on her father's arm. She looked like an angel. She was a viper. The ceremony proceeded. Vows were exchanged. I held my breath. Then came the moment. The officiant, a kind-faced man, raised his voice. "If anyone here present knows of any reason why this man and this woman should not be joined in holy matrimony, you must speak now, or forever hold your peace." The church fell into a profound, expectant silence. Mark stepped forward. He didn't speak. He simply walked to the officiant and handed him the envelope. A murmur rippled through the crowd. The officiant looked confused but took it. He opened it. His eyes scanned the first photo. I saw the color drain from his face. He looked up at Chloe, then at Leo, his expression a mixture of pity and horror. He didn't say a word. He simply walked over to my son and handed him the envelope. Leo, confused, took it. He looked down at the first photograph. It was a clear shot of Chloe and the hotel manager, his arm around her waist, leaning in for a kiss outside room 412. The time stamp was from a night she had told Leo she was at a team-building seminar. I saw my son's face change. The hope, the joy, the love, it all shattered in an instant. His hands began to shake. Chloe saw his expression. "Leo, what is it?" Her voice was a nervous tremor. He didn't answer her. He just stared at the next photo, then at a hotel receipt with her signature. The evidence was undeniable. He looked up at her, and the look in his eyes was one I never want to see again. It was the death of trust. "It's you," he whispered, his voice cracking. "All those late nights, it was him." The guests were dead silent, leaning forward, straining to hear. "Leo, it's not what it looks like," Chloe cried, her voice rising in panic. "He's your father. He's trying to ruin us. He's always hated me." Leo didn't even look at her. He held up a receipt for the room. "You signed for this, Chloe. You signed for a hotel room with another man the night you told me you were comforting your sick mother." The gasp from the crowd was audible. Phones were pulled out. The illusion was broken. Leo turned to the officiant, his voice eerily calm. "This wedding is over." He dropped the envelope at Chloe's feet. The photo spilled out onto the white runner for everyone to see. Then he turned and walked back down the aisle alone. He didn't run. He walked with the heavy, deliberate steps of a man walking away from his own grave. The church erupted into chaos. Chloe stood at the altar, sobbing, her perfect makeup streaking down her face. Her family rushed to her side, shouting. My relatives sat in stunned silence. I didn't stay to watch the aftermath. My work was done. I turned and walked away, the sun warm on my back. I had gone to war for my son, not with fists but with the truth, and the truth had won. He came to my house that night. He didn't say anything at first. He just stood in the doorway looking broken. Then he walked over and hugged me. It was the first time he'd hugged me in years. "I'm sorry, Dad," he whispered into my shoulder, his body shaking. "I'm so sorry I didn't listen." I held him. "You don't have to be sorry, son. You just had to see." He lost a wedding that day, but he found his father again, and I got my son back from the clutches of a lie. Sometimes, the most loving thing a father can do is be the villain in someone else's story, to be the hero in his son's. If you believe a parent's love should never be silenced, share this story. Let it be a reminder that the truth might be painful, but lies are a life sentence. Subscribe for more stories where silence is the deadliest weapon.